Hello and welcome to our brand new show, Firstpost Spotlight, where we bring you stories that matter to you from all across the world. From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, we shed light on issues that shape our world. I'm Alison Lagrange, coming to you live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin with the top headlines. US President Trump threatens to unleash a wave of higher taxes on imports from China. Beijing vows to defend its national interests. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, who wants to meet US President Donald Trump, says at least 200,000 European peacekeepers would be needed to prevent a new Russian attack after a ceasefire deal. A convoy of trucks carrying humanitarian assistance to roll into Gaza's Rafah as the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas holds steady for a fourth day. American tech giants OpenAI, Oracle and SoftBank team up for a $500 billion venture named Stargate, which will build data centers equipped to power artificial intelligence. And Nepal increases the permit fees for climbing Mount Everest by 36%, making the world's tallest peak more expensive for mountaineers for the first time in nearly a decade. Hello and welcome. We begin with the latest from the United States, where President Trump's signing of an executive order on ending birthright citizenship has triggered panic among Indian immigrants, especially the H-1B visa holders, with their future now hanging in limbo. During his presidential campaign, when Trump spoke of ending birthright citizenship, many believed it would apply only to children of illegal immigrants. But legal immigrants, especially Indians, are in for a shocker. Trump's order, which will come into effect from the 20th of February, limits automatic citizenship for children born on American soil, based on their parents' legal and immigration status. Birthright citizenship is rooted in the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, ratified in 1868 during the Reconstruction era. Its clauses state, and I quote, "All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside." Now, Trump's decision has reignited debates over the interpretation of the 14th Amendment. What does it say exactly, and how does it impact the children of legal, non-immigrant visa holders? Let me explain with an example. Now, Category 1. In a family, if the mother was unlawfully present in the United States and the father was not a U.S. citizen or lawfully permanent resident, their child will not be given U.S. citizenship. And Category 2, which has wider implications for the Indian diaspora, is where in a family, if the mother, who is in the U.S. lawfully but temporarily on a visitor or a non-immigrant visa, be it dependent or even a work visa, and the father is not a green card holder or a U.S. citizen, their child, born after the 20th of February, will not automatically get a U.S. citizenship now. This has become a major concern among the Indian diaspora. If you are in the United States on a temporary work visa, dependent visa, study visa, academic visa, visitor or short-term business or tourist visa, this decision could have life-altering implications for you. There are over 5.4 million Indians in the United States, making up around 1.47% of the U.S. population. Out of this, 34% are U.S. born, while the other 66% are immigrants. The majority of these are currently working on the H-1B visa. Now, hundreds of Indian origin children being born on U.S. soil will not be granted automatic citizenship under the new order. Indians, the second largest immigrant group in the U.S. after Mexicans, make up the majority of the H-1B visa holders. They accounted for 72.3% of the 386,000 H-1B visas in 2023. In 2022, Indian nationals secured 77% of the 320,000 approved H-1B visas. Over 1 million Indians who are in a decades-long queue for a green card will also be impacted going forward. One of the most significant effects of this policy will also be on Indian families who have been using birth tourism as a means to obtain US citizenship for their children. Birth tourism, which involves traveling to the US to give birth, has been a popular route for Indian and Mexican families. Now, Indian American lawmakers are opposing Donald Trump's changes to the birthright citizenship. Indian American Congressman Ro Khanna slammed the Republicans, calling their stance on legal immigration pretentious. Another Indian American Congressman, Shri Thanedar, called the decision appalling and said Americans must reject Trump, who thinks he can pick and choose parts of the Constitution he agrees with. Indian American Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal called Trump's decision unconstitutional. Rights groups also highlighted the potential for mass deportations, family separations, and other abuses under Trump's immigration policies. The US president's decision is expected to face thick legal challenges. The order has already been challenged in courts in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. The attorney generals from 22 states sued Trump to block the order. It won't come into effect if stayed by the courts within the next month. But as the battle over birthright citizenship and immigration reform intensifies, the future of millions of families hangs in the balance. Now, for more on this, we have with us Dr. Vivek Mishra, who is the Deputy Director of Strategic Studies Program at the ORF and Fellow Americas. He is joining us live from New Delhi. Welcome to Firstpost.
Thank you.
Now, Doctor, in your opinion, how will this order impact legal immigrants, especially Indians in the United States, and what challenges could it bring for immigrant families?
One of the ways in which I think there is going to be a direct impact is that many of the parents are going to be left in the limbo. Because there's going to be a huge deal of uncertainty as to what is the status. The Biden administration, towards the end of its term, actually tried to address some of these apprehensions that it foresaw coming for the Trump administration. So just days before signing off on the J-1 visa, which is a short-term temporary research visa to the United States, the Biden administration actually removed the 2-year home residency rule, which requires people to go back and stay in their home country for at least 2 years before coming to the US if they have been to the US on a short-term research trip. Now, so that's just one example of how there is a tension between the two administrations on the visa issue. But I think this is, as you highlighted in your pitch, I think this is definitely going to the court. And if it's going to be legally challenged, and it'll depend on what comes out of it. The only concern this time is because the political intent for the Trump administration is pretty straightforward on what it wants to do. And the second is that they control the trifecta, which is the House, the Senate, and the executive branch.
Right. Given the significant contributions of Indian immigrants to the US economy, particularly in STEM fields, how might this policy impact the US's ability to attract and retain top talent globally?
Hugely. In my opinion, I think the STEM talents actually fuel a generation of Indians going to the United States and contributing to the American economy. And if you see locations, I mean, if there are specific locales like the Silicon Valley, which have benefited tremendously out of this exchange or out of this flow. So I think that's going to be hugely challenged in terms of what America looks like in the future. The second is, what does it mean for America as a meritocratic society? What does it mean for meritocracy? And the essence of meritocracy is actually divided the Americans midway. You have the MAGA Republicans who are against it, more or less, and you have Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, section which is more pro meritocracy. The good part of this is that until now, Trump is on the part of meritocracy. We will see how this unravels in the future.
And how do legal experts interpret the 14th Amendment in the context of President Trump's executive order? Could this policy withstand the legal challenges already being mounted?
So, as I said, because of the control of all the three branches of the government by the Republicans, it's going to be a tense fight. But I think the grounds on which a reversal of a constitutional right, which forms the basis of the American society, is going to be tough for the Trump administration. I think the judicial system and the Department of Justice is going to have to look at this very carefully and with a lot of scrutiny, because this fundamentally changes the nature and the ingredients of the American society one way or the other, depending on what justice is. So I think the legality of it is pretty strong, because America, the counsel for this, the opposers of this will argue that if this tenet is changed, America will stand change. And I think that is the question which the legal councils will have to look into in terms of what it means for the future of America as a society. But and also historically, this particular tenet of reversal of the citizenship by birth, I think, has not been tested by the American constitutional lawyers for a while. So it's also going to be a new ground in which the Department of Justice and justices will have to really swim in.
Right. Doctor, thank you very much for being with us on Firstpost. We appreciate your valued insights there.
Thank you.
And speaking of uncertainties in the US, in President Trump's second term, the future of social media app TikTok also hangs in the balance. Donald Trump seemingly proposed a plan of action on TikTok's future in the US. Trump said that he was open to Tesla and ex-CEO Elon Musk buying TikTok's US operations. The short video app, once used by 170 million Americans, went offline just a day before Trump's inauguration on the 19th of January. This as a law that mandated the sale of the Chinese app to a US entity on security grounds came into effect. After assuming power, Trump signed an executive order to delay TikTok's ban by 75 days. Though he gave TikTok a brief lease of life, the clock is still ticking. The US president has now suggested a permanent rescue, with the rescuer being none other than his close billionaire friend, Elon Musk. And President Trump's affirmation comes amid reports that Chinese officials were indeed discussing a potential option to sell TikTok's US operations to Musk. TikTok has denied these reports, but the latest sequence of events suggests otherwise. Reports say there are several reasons why Musk may be seen as the most China-friendly American buyer for TikTok's US operations. Elon Musk-owned Tesla earned $21.75 billion in revenue from China in 2023. Tesla's Shanghai Gigafactory is credited to have improved China's electric vehicle manufacturing atmosphere. In April of 2024, China hailed Musk-owned Tesla as a successful model for US-China collaboration. In what could be seen as a major morale booster for Beijing's expansionist agenda, Musk has even referred to self-ruled island Taiwan as an integral part of China. Elon Musk himself has been vocal against the US ban on TikTok, but his opposition comes with a caveat, which is China's ban on Western social media platforms, including Musk-owned X. Now, Musk believes that something needs to change about the lack of X's operations in China at a time when TikTok is battling to avert a complete ban on its services. President Trump's endorsement of Musk as potential buyer is a crucial one. It assumes even more significance as other serious bids to buy TikTok's US operations come up. YouTube star Jimmy Donaldson, better known as Mr. Beast, has shown an interest in buying TikTok. The 26-year-old has teamed up with other US entrepreneurs to make an all-cash offer for TikTok's American unit. As billionaires now bid to buy TikTok, it remains to be seen who will finally emerge as the rescuer of the app in the US. Until then, Americans can keep scrolling. And the world's largest religious gathering is in full swing in India. Now, a 6-week congregation has already seen millions descend to the city of Prayagraj for a holy bath in a show of devotion to Hindu gods. Organizers believe the footfall will reach 400 million this year. When a festival of this scale is managed right, it's a massive success. And to ensure that happens, this year the Mahakumbh has gone next level. Artificial intelligence is running the show. Imagine tens of thousands of people packed into Prayagraj, each of them trying to find their place in the rush. You are separated from your group, lost in a crowd. That's when the AI-powered Lost and Found Center steps in. It helps individuals connect with their families in an instant. Add to that the AI-installed cameras. These are not just for snapping pictures. They can scan crowds with facial recognition, analyze faces and track movements. If something seems off, they can alert authorities instantly. They also predict sudden surges in crowd numbers. Such AI-enabled cameras are installed just minutes apart, at least 2,700 of them. Then come drones that are patrolling the skies. These drones capture real-time footage. They give you a bird's-eye view of the entire event and ensure a rapid response to medical emergencies. Radio frequency identification bands have also been handed out to attendees. This RFID tech is like having your own personal GPS, except you don't have to check your phone every 5 seconds. They keep track of everyone's whereabouts and monitor the head count of people. If you are still confused, there's always the AI-powered chatbot. It's called the Kumbh Sahayak. When in need of any answers or direction, the chatbot will help you to navigate the 500-acre festival. The Kumbh is held every 12 years in India. Pilgrims from across the world gather for a holy dip at the confluence of sacred rivers, the Ganges, Yamuna, and the mythical Saraswati. Now, they believe that bathing at this holy confluence, or the Sangam, cleanses them of sins and grants them spiritual liberation. For years, the notorious aspect of ineffective crowd control management has haunted and tarnished the image of the Kumbh Mela. It was in 2013. The rush was so intense that it turned into a deadly stampede that killed 36 people. The same story played out in 2011. Chaos, confusion, and overcrowding claimed the lives of at least 20. In 1954, the world witnessed one of the largest tolls in a crowd-related disaster. At least 800 people died after being trampled or drowned. Fast forward to 2025, and the story is completely different. Artificial intelligence is actively keeping an eye on things. It is helping organizers predict where a crowd might get too heavy. If there's a surge of people at one spot, authorities are notified, so crowd movement is being monitored in real time. When a large number of people move in a certain direction, organizers already know and redirect them. The 2025 Mahakumbh is here to remind that the horrors of a stampede are practically a thing of the past, so India is not just hosting a festival, but creating a revolution. The integration of AI has made the Mahakumbh bigger, better, and safer. It is running till the 26th of February. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to visit the festival on the 5th of February. He'll experience a taste of the high-tech Kumbh Mela firsthand. Now, this isn't just the world's biggest gathering anymore. It's the blueprint for the world where technology meets tradition. Now, for centuries, penguins have been seen as the epitome of eternal love and loyalty. In the animal kingdom and beyond, with their bonds thought to last a lifetime. But now they seem to have taken a leaf out of humans' book, who struggle to keep up with situations, nanoships, ghosting, and much more. Relationship troubles have finally made their way into the world of penguins, with not just romantic ups and downs, but also divorce. Our next story gets you all the details.
For centuries, penguins have been romanticized as symbols of loyalty. The conventional wisdom was that these cute white waddlers returned to the same partners every mating season. But not anymore. Scientists from Australia's Monash University studied over 1,000 penguin pairs across 13 breeding seasons. Over a 10-year period, they documented nearly 250 penguin divorces on Australia's Phillip Island, translating into a divorce rate of about 25%. The findings reveal that the relationship dynamics of these pint-sized lovebirds are far more complex. Not all of them are devoted partners. Some of them are also unfaithful ones. When the going gets tough, some of these penguins chose what scientists are calling a penguin divorce. The findings of this study suggest that penguins are practical romantics. During good mating seasons, when food is plentiful and chicks are thriving, they tend to stay with their usual mates. But after a poor breeding season, many search for greener pastures, or in this case, better mating partners, hoping to improve their chances of bearing chicks. It's a calculated risk, one that doesn't always pay off. Much like human dating, the quest for a better match has its drawbacks for the penguins too. After several seasons of mating with the same partner, the beginning of a fresh penguin partnership is often awkward. This leads to a delay in the key life goal for penguin pairs, bearing chicks. As the existing penguin couples mate and bear chicks, newly formed pairs spend significant time wooing each other. They perform elaborate courtship displays in the form of fanned-out waddling. This often leads to a delay in mating and ultimately a declined fertility rate. Scientists found that chicks of new penguin partners were also less likely to hatch and survive. This creates a ripple effect that leads to the decline in the population of the entire penguin colony. In comparison, researchers found that mating seasons marked by low divorce rates were a time of abundance. Couples that stuck together produced more eggs, hatched more chicks, and contributed to a thriving colony. For researchers, monitoring penguin divorce rates has emerged as a valuable, non-invasive way to track the health of penguin populations. But for the rest of us, the tangled love lives of penguins offer a humbling reminder that whether it's some bustling city or the rocky shores of Phillip Island, love is rarely simple. And while the fascination of a better match may beckon, the bonds of familiarity and commitment can sometimes offer better rewards.
And that's all we have on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.
Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. My name is Utsav Parekh and here are the top stories of the day.